what I'm doing tonight, is my throttle body sensor. I'm going to reposition, purely because I put a throttle body cleaner kit through it not too long ago. I clogged up my idle valve because I didn't take the bottom hose off to let the fluid flush out through there as well when I was cleaning out, and clogged up my air valve, so the idle air valve. So I messed around with the top screw there, I messed around with the idle screw there, I messed around with the throttle body sensor, and then when I found what my problem was, I'm now not happy that I've played around with those things and knowing that they're not set correctly. So what I'm doing is, now I don't know if you can see that in there, yes you can, that top screw there, loosen off the lock nut, and then by hand, and it's easier to do this underneath the van, screw the thread in until it stops that's all it is, it's a stopper. So you screw that in until it stops the butterfly. So you can basically just touch the body arm there, and that'll stop the butterfly from closing to a point where it can seize. That's the setting for there. Once you've done that, tighten it up, and then you want to come over to the throttle body sensor. Now, using a couple of alligator clips with electrical tape around them, and the two bottom pins there, there's four there, the two bottom ones, the one's the idle and the other one's the E2, which is basically earth, but it's E2. Now, just to show you how that works, when that's on, you're supposed to adjust this until there's connectivity, and say turning this, you can see the settings there. As soon as that goes out, you know it's no longer a dead short, and that's where the setting should be. See and the slightest difference makes that difference there. So it's too hard to reach under, that's why I've had to use alligator clips for this, because you just can't reach in from underneath the bottom part under here. So that's how I've set that up there with the meter. Now I'll put this on here, and I still need to get the fuel gauges in line. Let's just turn that beeping noise off. Okay, so first of all I need to get the fuel gauges in here. So once you've made that adjustment on that screw, you don't put the fuel gauges in there first, because then that will allow the butterfly to close too far. You've got to adjust that screw first so the butterfly doesn't close all the way. And now you need to get your fuel gauges in there, which is 0.33 thou. This is easier done under the van. I'm doing it like this right now to show you guys. So you can see that there. I'm sure you can. I'll zoom in anyway. So that's 0.33 thou. Now I'll put this throttle body sensor on, and I'll have to unplug this from underneath the van once it's set. Okay, I need to get under the van as well, so I'll pause this for a second to shorten the video. Zoom back out, it already is. So I'm just putting these screws back on in place at the moment, these guys, so I can tighten it up. So now I'm going to turn it on. Now we're going to turn this sensor until right there. That's exactly where I need it, which is pretty far. Yep, that's where I need it. Let me tighten this up top on first, and I'm using these small vice grips to tighten the top one. And when I remove those filler gauges, it should kick back in. So that's the tight there. There you go. So remove the filler gauges and these guys. And now, see, you got that short again. So we know we're set right. As soon as we give it a tiny bit of acceleration, that's when that kicks in. That's exactly where it should be. And that's the correct way to set this guy up. So now I can disconnect those leads here from underneath, plug that plug in and tighten that bottom screw up, and then I'm going to check the voltage on what that is as well. So just going over that again, I've tightened this all up now, the throttle body sensor, and I've put the filler gauges back in. We've got just to double check, we've got continuity there, and as soon as I remove these gauges, and there she goes. There must be, that Toyo would have allowed a minute difference there, so you probably could go just 0.30 or 0.35, but 0.33 is the recommended setting. Alright, so I'm going to put my throttle cable back on. Okay, throttle cable back on, and you can see that's as tight as I can go with that. So now that that's set, I can unplug this sensor and with the multimeter that is, and connect up the proper plug. I'll just leave the camera there for a second while I'm recording. Okay, so now let's start the van. Okay, so you can see it's all warmed up. Getting a good idle there. Beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. Exactly like that. Okay, now I'm going to check the volts on this. So using the multimeter, I'll get this electrical tape off. Okay, so I'm just going to check these volts. And what I've done here is I've connected up from the yellow wire red trace to the ECU there, and I'll put the multimeter on 20 volts. Now I'm going to just check the voltage on the VTF, I think it is. Okay, so we got 0.6 volts for that setting, right? And the idle is good. So that's the right way to set it up there. And the volts at the end there, it's just my little thing. Just wanted to know what that setting there was, so I'll pack all this up now, put the van back together, and yeah, we're done. So that's how you set the throttle valve sensor and the top screw settings and the filler gauges on how to do that. Like put the filler gauges in after setting the top screw, so you can set the throttle, getting late. The throttle position sensor in the correct spot. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. I think that concludes this. Until next time.